Happy Monday. Good afternoon to you all and welcome. Thanks for joining us in this 2022 AARP California Andrus Award for Community Service. I am Joe Garbanzos, your AARP California State President. And today we're joined by Nancy McPherson. Hello, Nancy, AARP California State Director, D.G. Galati, Director of Program Implementation, AARP Foundation Tax-Aide Program, Ken Johnson, the nominator of our 2022 Andrus Award winner, and of course, Mike and his lovely wife, Mike Cussen, the recipient of our 2022 Andrus Award. A little bit of a background, the Andrus Award is the AARP's most prestigious volunteer recognition award. Although we're not in person for this year's celebration, the award remains just as special, if not even more, as volunteer service is as important as ever. For those of you who may not know, AARP, and this is a favorite story of mine, began over 60 years ago under the leadership of our visionary founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus. Dr. Andrus was born in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and as an adult, she went on to work in Los Angeles at Lincoln High School. It's still there, where she served as the first female principal of an urban high school in California. Dr. Andrus discovered a former teacher, a colleague, who was living in a chicken coop because she could not afford proper housing, healthcare, or food. This shocking incident inspired our founder, Dr. Andrus, to devote the rest of her years as a volunteer to improving the quality of life for older adults. Dr. Andrus founded the National Retired Teachers Association in 1947. As a footnote, the National Retired Teachers Association is celebrating its 75th year of service, helping and protecting and advocating for retired educators. Then in 1958, Ethel founded AARP, a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that has continued to grow and serve older adults and their families over the past 60 years. To today, AARP has a wide footprint. It has offices in all 50 states, as well as the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Our home office is in Washington, D.C. AARP staff and volunteers work to empower and engage our 38 million members nationwide and 3.3 million members here in California, as well as all those ages 50 plus and their families, to choose how they live as they age in their community. So our organization is driven by Dr. Andrus' conviction. It's a belief, almost spiritual, I think, and that is, it is only the giving of oneself to others that we truly live. So I like to repeat that. It is only the giving of oneself to others that we truly live. AARP has long valued the spirit of volunteerism and the important contribution volunteers make to their communities, their neighbors, sharing relevant programs that is making a difference in people's lives. Each year, California recognizes an extraordinary volunteer and community leader by presenting the most prestigious volunteer award, that's the AARP Andrus Award for Community Service. Some background on the rigorous selection process. In 2022, the AARP California State Office received over 50 Andrus Award nominations that were reviewed by a select team who applied criteria and assessed how these volunteers work, improve their community, and supports AARP's vision and mission, and inspiring others to volunteer. And at this point, I think it's appropriate to thank the AARP California staff and volunteers who participated on the 2022 selection committee. I would like to name them. Shout out to Romer Cristobal, Israel Hernandez, John Young, and Greg Vigan. Thank you to your work. This year, AARP California is proud to present the 2022 Andrus Award of Community Service to Mike Cussen. Mike, congratulations. He is a Tax-Aide District Coordinator for D18. AARP California selected Mr. Cussen for his remarkable service and for the significant impact he has had on the lives of others. A true example of Ethel Percy Andrus's idea of giving to others. Now I'm going to transition it to DG Galati to provide some additional perspective. Introducing DJ. DJ, you can share information about AARP's Foundation Tax-Aide program. The floor is yours, DG.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm DG Galati, the Director of Program Implementation for Tax-Aide. Tax-Aide provides service in all 50 states, and last tax season, which is the 22 tax season, we served over 1.5 million Americans. Tax-Aide is the 4th largest tax prep service in the country, operating in all 50 states. And prior to the pandemic, we were preparing tax returns for over 2 million Americans. So it's a very large organization, and it is the largest free tax prep service. Currently we have 26,000 volunteers, Mike being one of them, and this is quite a privilege for me to and appreciate being invited to make a few remarks to honor Mike Cussen. He is an extraordinary volunteer who's been with Tax-Aide for the last 11 years. He is a former CFO with a CPA certification for a very large international paper company. He initially volunteered post his retirement for a Bay Area nonprofit to help prepare taxes. From there, he joined Tax-Aide and has risen from being a volunteer counselor to the local coordinator for the site, then also a training coordinator, and is now a district coordinator for District 18. He was instrumental in opening the Paso Robles site, city library site in 2016. And this site today prepares the most tax returns of any site in the Bay Area. Volunteerism has been in Mike's DNA from his very early days. He has been involved with volunteering at international level. Some examples include International Voluntary Services volunteer in Vietnam as far back in 1967, where he built wells in a refugee camp. He's also been helping with the British Peace Corps and also with the Irish Aid as a program auditor in Mozambique in 2009. His pioneering and innovative streak extends to Tax-Aide. Back in 2020, as COVID was spreading rapidly, Tax-Aide was wrestling with how to provide service to the taxpayers going forward. Up to that point, the service we provided was the taxpayers would come into our tax sites. Paul Nyberger, who at the time was California Ford's state coordinator, asked Mike to be one of the CF4's quote unquote test pilots to pilot alternative service delivery model. at the Paso Robles tax site, Mike quickly set up a very efficient and, most importantly, a safe drop-off model at the Paso Robles site, a first ever. The test was a great success due to Mike's leadership, innovation, and support from his team. That model, the drop-off model, is now widely deployed throughout Tax-Aide and incorporates many of the innovations that Mike and his team pioneered. Again, it is a privilege for me to be invited to honor Mike Cussen.
Thank you, DG. Impressive introduction. Now I'm going to turn the program over to Ken Johnson, who nominated Mike. Ken.
Thank you, Joe. I was recruited by Mike for the AARP Tax-Aide program after my retirement about 6 years ago. Over the past 40 years, I'd worked with hundreds of volunteers. While a small number of those volunteers were outstanding, none approached the level of Mike. He has consistently demonstrated an extraordinary level of empathy and concern for all tax clients and coworkers. Many of our clients were repeat customers. Mike's ability to remember their names, family members, and personal situations from year to year is just uncanny. Every person served by Mike left the tax preparation site with a sense of caring and respect. Mike also went the extra mile by assisting homebound seniors with their taxes, meeting at their homes after normal working hours. This was in addition to countless hours of phone assistance provided after the tax preparation site had closed, all of which went well beyond the norm. Mike built a cadre of tax counselors, including myself. Everyone on the team has appreciated Mike's wisdom and guidance. He's an amazing leader that inspires personal motivation and dedication. Mike represents the best of every volunteer. He is a unique and considerate person that shuns recognition for his many contributions, yet is so deserving of such. I'm proud to work with Mike and appreciate this opportunity to share in his acknowledgement. He is certainly one of the best California has to offer.
Thank you, Ken. Impressive indeed, and thanks for sharing. Now it's my pleasure to call Nancy McPherson, AARP California State Director, to present the award. Nancy.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, DG and Ken, for those wonderful remarks that give us even more insight to who Ken is. And Karen, so glad that you can be here with Mike today as he receives this award. So as you heard, the award is named after our founder, Ethel Percy Andrus, who was a volunteer her entire time with AARP, never collecting a paycheck. She lived by the motto, which you'll see in our offices, to serve, not to be served. And that motto continues to shape our work years after she founded this association to help older Americans age with dignity and purpose. And we do give this award annually to one Californian whose service is a unique and valuable contribution to society. This year, as you've already heard, AARP California is honored to present Mike Cussen with our 2022 Andrus Award for Community Service in recognition of his outstanding volunteer service, as well as to make a $1,000 donation to the nonprofit of his choice, which is the Paso Robles Library Foundation Study Center. Thank you, Shay. As shared by Joe and Ken, and also the remarks we heard from DG, Mike's record of achievement, service, and commitment provide an extraordinary difference, an extraordinary example of the difference that volunteerism can make in the lives of individuals and in the well-being and vitality of all of our communities. I'd like to read a short blurb, Ken, from your nomination. I think it's germane to this conversation. Mike's degree of dedication is unparalleled to any volunteer in any capacity that I have ever worked with. His efforts are truly selfless. Mike not only works virtually, all hours of sites are open, but put in countless additional time working with clients after hours. And we heard this from you, Ken, including visits to those that are homebound. This is in addition to the many hours required for training, scheduling, and administrative duties associated with his job responsibilities. While the dedication he demonstrates is remarkable, it's really more about the manner in which he does it. He is a rare individual that makes everyone around him feel easy and important. And Mike, while it's sometimes hard to hear people say good things about you, I encourage you to just take a really deep breath and take it in and appreciate the fact that you are such an inspiration to all of us. And we're so glad to be able to give you this award today. Before I complete my remarks, we have a brief video from our CEO, Joanne Jenkins. So let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Joanne Jenkins, the CEO of AARP. Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus founded AARP over 60 years ago, issuing a charge to its members to serve, not to be served. Through her own volunteer service, she inspired them to use their time, talent, and experience to help improve the lives of all Americans by volunteering in their communities. Today, service is at the center of everything we do. Day in and day out, AARP volunteers across the country dedicate their time and experience to improve the lives of others. Since 2002, AARP has been honoring that commitment by recognizing an exceptional volunteer aged 50 and older in each state with the Andrus Award for Community Service. The award criteria are clear. The Andrus Award recipient must enrich their community through volunteer service and provide inspiration for others to volunteer. As an Andrus Award recipient, you personify those qualities. Thank you for all that you do in your community, and congratulations on receiving the Andrus Award for Community Service.
So thank you to Joanne for her remarks. Mike, your volunteer service really does enhance the lives of people of all ages and abilities, especially low-income older adults, and it aligns with AARP's mission and values. And we are proud to present you. Karen, you actually should present it to him since Ken can't be there. We are proud to present you with AARP's most prestigious volunteer award, the AARP Andrus Award for Community Service. And if you'll hold up the award, we can get a photo of you holding it.
You holding it.
Yeah, there you go. And Shay, tell me when you get the picture and then we'll move forward.
Sure.
One moment.
There we go.
Okay, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Mike, hold it up one more time and she'll give you another.
All right.
Yep, count
Okay.
of 3. 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Mike. Go ahead and put it down, and the floor is now yours to share any remarks if you would like to.
Well, I had a bunch of prepared remarks, which I will continue with, but thank you very much for all the good things. Ken in particular, and Paul Nybarger is in there, and Vicki Vandenberg, who is now the district coordinator for San Luis Obispo County. She is the D18 coordinator. I did it for three years through COVID. But I wanted to thank you and thank my wife, Karen McLaurin, who's here. She was quite amazed that the award, when it showed up the other day, was made in Canada. She's a Canadian, and I even taught her how to do American taxes, and she's a volunteer now.
That's right.
So it was very important to being part of the community here. But thank you for honoring me with the Andrus Award. And one of the things that I wasn't aware of is that the comment that was made that Dr. Andrus said that you got to do it one-on-one. You got to have one thing to do for one person. And I learned that when I worked overseas, both in Vietnam, Mozambique, and Cambodia, that you got to do one-on-one with people. And Tax-Aide really helps you do that. I've done a lot of things around the community here. I've been a baseball umpire, and I've been on the PTA when I used to live in Oakland. And have volunteered for committees, but you don't get quite the satisfaction you do for doing Tax-Aide, where you're really helping somebody. From my volunteer perspective, we're all retired people. Most all of us are retired because we have the time to do this now. We get great satisfaction out of helping somebody. And so many of our clients are financially challenged. Some of them are financially illiterate, and some of them are just downright poor and they need help. And it's very rewarding to be able to have an organization that AARP sponsors together with the IRS to perform this service. And so I'm very touched that I've been able to do this both in Chinatown, up in Oakland for a season or two, and then down here for 11 seasons. It's a very rewarding exercise, a very rewarding volunteer position. That's why I'm always telling people that there's some really good things to volunteer for AARP Tax-Aide, because you can really make a change in somebody's life. You can first of all, you take the dread out of doing taxes away from them, and they're happy when they leave the building knowing their taxes are going to be filed and everything's taken care of, and they understand so. Plus, you get to talk to them about things, just their life and other chit chat. I've told my staff, you get 5 minutes of chit chat, and that's the best part. Of course, I always run over because I'm a bit wordy, as you can see here. And but I would like to say thank you very much to AARP for sponsoring us. And I'm very pleased to be able to give the award, the $1,000 award, to the Paso Robles City Library Study Center, which is up in the north end of town. It's a very well-run study center. I see one of our leaders up with the schools up there, Mary Lou Gomez, who's our translator, is in this meeting today. And I'm very pleased to be able to give this to the Library Foundation. So thank you once again for all the support that AARP gives us here in Paso Robles and across the country. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And once again, congratulations. Thank you for your work and service. If I know enough about AARP volunteer work, I think credit should be given to Karen as well. Because usually family members come as part of the package, right, Karen? So congratulations to you too. And thank you for sharing Mike with all of us. So for anyone who just joined us, we had the opportunity of presenting Mike and Karen, the AARP California 2022 Andrus Award for Community Service. If you want to learn more about the California Andrus Award program and Mike's work, you can go to aarp.org/CA. Again, aarp.org/CA. Mike, Ken, Karen, thank you. Thank you for all the volunteer hours and work that you do as Tax-Aide volunteers in District 18 and supporting your community during these trying times in making a positive impact on our seniors and future generations to come. To our guests, to our staff, thank you. We hope you had a wonderful day joining us at this program. Thank you for sharing your appreciation to Mike and Karen with us. Stay safe. Happy holidays.